Hey everyone, this is Ray Gehring with the New York Music Co-op. Thank you so much for joining me today. This lesson is entitled, What If My Guitar Was Made for a Giant? Somebody that's gargantuan. So, somebody for whom that this instrument, concert size, would be built for, again, a giant. Might look something like this. Let's pretend this ukulele is a full-size concert instrument. So we have a tremendous stretch going on here. All right, let's pretend I'm 40 feet tall. And this is what my guitar looks like, a tiny, almost like ukulele in my hand, which it is. Those would be the kind of stretches you would see. Now, much of the inspiration for this video was when you're watching guitar-related videos or music-related videos, you often see prodigies. Anybody from 3 years old on up to whatever, 12 years old. And often they're playing on a concert instrument that is, you know, ostensibly too big for them, yet they execute flawless stretches and very musical. And you wouldn't have an idea that they have small hands or large hands just by hearing it. Before we begin, I want to sort of let you know what we'll be doing here. We're going to be using the key of F major. F major has one flat. It's the first key, major key, that has a flat. And as some of you may know, the 4th degree and 5th degree, if we were to make chords out of those constitute major chords. So our first chord, our 4th chord, and 5th chord are major ones. Minor, minor, minor. This is something called half diminished or diminished in its triad form, and then back to 1, or root or tonic. So now I'm going to show you on the guitar what we're going to be doing. Keep in mind of the fingering on the bottom. In red, the only fingers we're going to use, well, all of our 4 fingers, but we're going to be going on 1 string at a time. So that means repeating on 1 string 4 fingers at a time. And here's how it looks on the guitar. All right, normally, or one way to finger an F major scale is 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2. That's a 1 octave F major scale. So the fingering, you noticed, is a very common one for a scale. All right, so what we're doing here is changing that around to, well, what if we had gigantic stretches, because this guitar is not made for us, it's made for somebody much bigger. All right, so if we had tiny hands, that means I can play the F major scale on 1 string. Of course, it's easier up here because the frets aren't as far apart. But as you get down here, this stretch to here, the reason why I'm setting this stretch up early is because I don't want to cut off this note before this note is ready to play. Otherwise, I get a gap in the tone. Now, the great thing about this fingering is we can break the scale up into 4 notes, or 4 fingers at a time. So 1 upper F, 2, 3, 4 up to the B flat. So rhythmically we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay, so meaning that it's symmetrical. Same shape going up. Let me show you how to do an F major using the same fingering on 2 strings. So let's turn this up a bit. So we have F, G, A, B flat. Okay, so again I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Next string. Now, it's the same fingering as this string. All right, that's easy to remember. So the point here is to get used to weird stretches that we would not normally do, but let's say we didn't have a choice, much like when we see some of these younger students playing things that they should not be able to play, but they can. It's impressive. And what if we as adults, when learning the instrument, what if we did the same thing in our approach? What if we were doing scales with more fingers or different fingering than what we're normally doing? If you have big hands like I do, this is 8 inches from here to here. All right, so that's almost a 7 fret stretch. All right, so that's no problem for me to play without pain. This instrument just presents an enormous amount of challenges and obstacles that technically we just have to overcome. It's the nature of the instrument. Now, as I mentioned before, if you find that this is painful anyway, stop. Chances are you're twisting your wrist too much like this, which restricts blood flow. So I will say I'm not a doctor, but there's plenty of technique videos you can watch that this is a big no-no. All right, so I have to be cautious of that when I'm playing this too, and see how quickly I can get out of it. So I want the previous finger to follow as quickly as possible. And here you can see I played the A note with my third finger kind of more in the middle. I don't like that, so that's what I've been working on with this exercise, is to make that third finger less on the pad of the finger as opposed to the tip. So every instrument has something that is annoying and aggravating to play. And I'm constantly doing different techniques, different fingerings, just to strengthen these and to see if I can do it. When you're running these notes, don't toss away a note. I mean, really listen to the note that's coming next. Actually, let me back up and say, focus on the note you're playing. Make sure this is rich and smooth and picked exactly where you want it. All right, so the takeaway from this lesson is think about the difficult things that this guitar or your instrument, our instrument, presents to us, and don't see them so much as obstacles as opposed to your fingers are dancers. They just have to be able to work in coordination with each other, both hands. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Ray Gehring, and again, with the New York Music Cooperative. Stay safe, stay happy, stay well, and we look forward to seeing you when it's proper to do so. Thank you so much.